Hey guys, Mr. T here for the final starter ranking video. Like I said, I've explained this before in my other videos, so if you haven't seen them yet, go watch the grass ones, then the fire ones, then the stage 3 water. Alright, that's the order we've been doing them in. So like I mentioned all the way back in the first grass video, I'm not going to do stage 2 Pokemon because let's be honest, stage 2 Pokemon usually get forgotten about. They're the forgotten members of the family line. And honestly, there's not a whole lot of stage 2 starters I really even like. I think the only good thing about doing a stage 2 video is I finally kind of like Bulbasaur's line. Ivysaur's actually pretty cool. The rest of it, not so much. But yeah, so again, it's one of those things where stage 2 Pokemon just kind of get forgotten about. They get thrown under the bus because all you really want is the cuteness of stage 1 and the power of stage 3. No one really cares about stage 2 on a 3-stage line. And if you like a stage 2 Pokemon as your favorite, well, I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and dive in. So quick recap of the rules. If you want the full spiel, go watch the grass videos. But I'm ranking all the stage 1 water starters, and I'm only basing my ranking on that Pokemon. So I'm not basing it on any of their evolution lines, their family line, what have you. I am only basing it on the that specific Pokemon. And you're going to see if you watch my Stage 3 Water one, there are some pretty big changes between that one and this one on some of these Pokemon. So let's go ahead and dive in. So my least favorite water starter, and there's no hate for this Pokemon. It's a cute Pokemon. I never really got into it, and that's Oshawott. I know some people love Oshawott. I think last time I was looking up data and metrics, it's one of the more famous starters, especially water starters. It's like I see Oshawott up there with like Squirtle in some rankings. Again, like I've said in my other videos, I'm not a Unova fan. I'm starting to become one again in the general aspect of it, but Oshawott and Samurott, not big fans. Again, no hate for them. Like, I don't hate them. I'm just not a fan of them, I think his design's a little weird and off-putting. Like, I get the concept of the design. I just don't think it was executed very well. I think a little, what am I trying to say? An otter Pokemon, I think it could have been done a little bit better. So, yeah, no hate to Oshawott, just not a fan. Now, my number 8 is Sobble. Kind of going back to Inteleon, Sobble falls under the same curse, I guess you could say. Sobble's not bad. He just had to compete with Scorbunny and Grookey. Grookey's okay. Scorbunny's one of my favorite starters. I love Scorbunny. So it's like Sobble having to compete against them. Him and then Inteleon, they kind of gotten forgotten about in a lot of cases. Like I literally got my Sobble, leveled it up to Inteleon, and then threw it in a box. And I never really played with Inteleon or Sobble. So again, it's not that I hate Sobble, not a hate thing at all. I'm just not a general fan of him, and that's kind of why he got really low on the list. Again, he had to compete against Scorbunny and Grookey, and then eventually Cinderace and Rillaboom. Sobble and Inteleon weren't going to win that fight, at least in my eyes. Now, my number 7, falling a few places from his Stage 3 counterpart, that's Popplio. Again, I like Primarina, but Popplio, I like his general design. It is a cute little Pokemon, but overall, I'm not a Popplio fan. I don't know what it is. It's when we're talking stage 1 Pokemon, I like Litten a lot better, and Rowlet isn't bad compared to Popplio. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know what it is about Popplio. He just, whenever I think of him, he gets low on my list. And I don't know what it is. He just never has been a really high Pokemon for me on my list. I do find it funny though, because Popplio officially is the first ever Pokemon card signed by a Pope. So if you don't know, Pope Leo the 14th, the current Pope, the first American Pope, some guy met him and handed him a Pokemon card, and he signed it. So Poplio has officially been the first Pokemon card to be signed by a Pope. So I think that's kind of funny and interesting. Go look it up if you don't believe me. I just think that's kind of cool and it's historical. You know, it's a cultural historical move. You know, you don't have to like Pokemon. You don't have to be Catholic or any of that stuff. It's a big part of our cultural history. So I thought it was kind of cool. So yeah, so back to our list. So now number 6 on our list, this one you're going to see is interesting because this is showing you how I'm only ranking them off the individual Pokemon, because this Pokemon's stage 3 was a lot higher on my list. And my number 6 is Froakie. If you saw my stage 3, and I'm just going to spoil it because you should have saw that one first, Greninja got second place. So Greninja was crazy high on my stage 3 list. Froakie, I'm just not a fan of Froakie. I feel his design was lackluster. He looks a little weird. You know, there's a lot of things that could have been done better. And then for him to evolve into Greninja, it just kind of put Froakie's design down a little bit. You know what I mean? Kind of like Quaxly and Quaxcaval, but in reverse, you know? So, again, I don't hate Froakie. I don't really hate any of the water starters, stage 1 water starters at least. I think his design is a little weird and almost off-putting. Like, I almost would flip Froakie and Poplio, you know? So it's one of those things where, yeah, and those big eyes, like, I don't mind big eyes on Pokemon, but his big eyes, like, it's almost making me think of, like, Mr. Krabs or something from SpongeBob, which I like Mr. Krabs, but I don't want a Pokemon of Mr. Krabs, you know what I mean? So, yeah, so Froakie isn't big on my list. Now my number 5, again, yet another one of those Pokemon that just falls into the curse of they're not bad, they just had to compete with better Pokemon, and that's Piplup. Again, I like Piplup. Piplup's this cute little penguin. He's so adorable and all that, but you're not competing against Chimchar and Turtwig. Like, I'm not even a fan of Chimchar, you know? Chimchar is kind of in terms of first stage starters, but Chimchar is just... I feel like a monkey Pokemon is better than a penguin Pokemon, you know? I don't know. I think Turtwig is probably the best of the first stage Pokemon. And Piplup is just... I don't know, you know? Going up against Chimchar and Turtwig, it really put Piplup down a bit, and that ultimately is why he got low. Again, I don't hate Piplup. Piplup's a cute little Pokemon. I love the little penguin design and all that stuff, but, you know... Overall, I don't really use Piplup, and I really don't use Empoleon a whole lot. Like, I can't remember the last time I did a full playthrough with Piplup as my starter. You know, so that's kind of why he gets lower on the list. All right, now, my number 4 and my number 3 kind of matched their adult versions. So, my number 4 is Totodile. I love Totodile. I think he's so cute. Totodile and Chikorita were I loved them in the Johto region. I always did it. I always picked both and traded one. Oh, why do I always yawn during some of these videos? And I traded Totodile into the other game so I could have Totodile and Chikorita right at the start. So I love Totodile. He's a cute little Pokemon. I loved Ash's Totodile, especially in one of the movies where he uses Totodile as like a water gun attack to kind of break his fall before, you know, dying on the ground. So I think Totodile is cool. I love his design. I love his eyes, the way that like the piercing eyes look cool. And Totodile was one of my son's more favorite Pokemon when he was younger. He still likes Totodile too. So that's why Totodile gets kind of high on my list. And then number 3 is Mudkip. You know, Mudkip is the worst of the Hoenn starters, but yet he's still one of the best ones. So what does that tell you about Hoenn? If you saw my Stage 3 video, you already know the Hoenn trio is the best starter trio of any generation. Again, together, not individually, just together as a collective whole. Individually, you know, Charizard and Blastoise. But again, Mudkip is so cool, and I love Axolot Pokemon. I love Axolots in general. I think they are one of the coolest animals. Why am I yawning? Ugh. I think Axolots are one of the coolest animals ever. I love going to the aquarium to see them. I think they're just so cool. I love the little Axolots in Minecraft, and Mudkip is definitely up there. Honestly, up until very recently, Mudkip was my second favorite water starter. And part of me wants to put him as second again, but this Pokemon just knocked him out right away. So my second favorite, and this shows you how big of a jump some of these can be between their stage 1 and stage 3s, and that's Quaxly. I mentioned this in my stage 3 video. Quaxcaval, or whatever his name is, his evolved form, sucked. Garbage. Hate him. Quaxly, when I first saw the trailer for Paldea, Quaxly was like 80% of the reason I wanted Scarlet and Violet. I love this Pokemon. He is so cool. He is so cute. And the biggest thing I like about him, he reminds me of Donald Duck. That was the big thing. Donald Duck, for anyone who knows, is my favorite Disney character. He has been my whole life. And Donald Duck is easily one of my favorite animated characters of all time. Arguably, I'd probably put Donald Duck as my favorite animated character, right up there with Charizard in terms of general anime characters. So when Quaxly came out, I was like, take my money. I'm still, like, the only reason I didn't pick Quaxly as my first choice starter, my first playthrough, was because I saw what he evolves into. And I'm like, you know what? Fuecoco is okay. Quaxly's better, but Skeledirge is better than Quaxcaval or whatever it is. So that's why I didn't pick Quaxly first, but I love Quaxly. This Pokemon on his own, easily one of my favorite Pokemon. I'd say easily a top 25 contender. All right? I love him. I love his design. I love his little shape. And again, he looks like Donald Duck. That alone is going to put him in one of my favorites list. All right. And now my favorite stage 1 starter of all time is Squirtle. Again, Squirtle was supposed to be my original OG. I love this Pokemon. I've never hidden this fact. I love Squirtle more than Charmander. Again, Charizard's the greatest, hands down, period, not even a question. But Squirtle over Charmander any day. I mean, he is such a guy. He's a solid design. I love the way he looks. He's such a cool little Pokemon. I like his little tail. I mean, I have zero complaints about Squirtle. Right? I guess if I had to come up with a complaint, I wish he wore his sunglasses more. True fans know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I literally cannot think of a bad thing to say about Squirtle, his design, or anything about him. And the Squirtle squad in the show, oh my god, that made me love Squirtle even more. Right? So that's my list of water stage 1s. Now I'm going to show you my overall list. So I actually went in and threw an overall list together. I was going to put this in the other video, and I forgot for the stage 3s. But let's go ahead and put them. So I know it says stage 3. These are actually my stage 1s. I don't know why I didn't change it. I forgot, and by the time I got into the video and realized it, I was too far in and I didn't want to restart. So this is my list of my all-time favorite stage 1s. This is the whole list, all 27 of them. So you can see Charmander isn't even my second. Charmander's third. Squirtle and Chikorita, love them. So you can see, I mean, honestly, Quaxly and Trico, I almost flipped them. Like, there's a part of me that wants to flip them. I think the only reason Trico got fourth was because of, what am I trying to say? Nostalgia. Okay? But again, I love Squirtle. Chikorita's amazing too. And then again, I do like Charmander. Again, he's not Charizard, but I do like Charmander. And again, Tepig and Chespin and Fennekin, no hate for them. I just, they were kind of forgettable to me. I know I don't want to say it, but hopefully Tepig finally gets his time in Legends EA. Now, the actual Stage 3 list, I'm going to show you that one next. That's the one I forgot to put on my water video at the end, but whatever. So, look at that. Charizard's first. Oh, we didn't see that coming. Blaziken and Blastoise are honestly tied. Like, they are legitimately tied for second for me. And then Sceptile and Meganium. The only reason I put Sceptile over Meganium is because, again, Sceptile's always been my go-to grass. I can't put Blaziken and Charizard on the same team because that's just overdoing it with fires. I need to have that range, and that's where Sceptiles always come in. Okay? So again, I love my top 6 really are some of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Cinderace and Skeledirge, love those Pokemon. Easily top 15, top 20 of my favorite Pokemon ever. But yeah, and then again, Chestnut, Emboar, Masquerada, I think I honestly was thinking about putting Quaxcaval even lower. Once we got down to that like 22, 23 range and lower, I kind of just started throwing them on there. You know, Quaxcaval easily could make a run on my least favorite Pokemon of the Stage 3 starters, but it is what it is. I was focusing more on the high end than the low end. So, there's my video, ladies and gentlemen. Stick around for some more. I got another Pokemon video in the works, and I got 2 or 3 of non-Pokemon videos coming up as well. So, peace out, Americans. Stay beautiful, and yeah.